helping your child reach his or her full potential. It's a goal for many parents, and Dr. Doug Haddad is the author of a new book aimed at parents and teens of tweens. It's the ultimate guide to raising teens and tweens. It's quickly climbing the charts in the popular adolescent psychology category on Amazon. It's doing very well, and the best-selling author, the Simsbury School District teacher, here with us once again. Great to have you back. Congratulations, the book is doing very well already.
Yes, it's actually reached a bestseller status in 4 categories, so I'm very excited about that.
All right, so what is this telling us parents that's maybe new, that maybe we haven't heard before?
Yeah, I think we're seeing in today's society nowadays, technology is a big issue.
Yeah.
And children being able to resolve conflict, being able to handle adversity, and really being able for parents to know when to give their child the next smartphone or next tablet. We're seeing parents having a lot of questions too with overscheduling their child. How much is too much, and how to effectively communicate with a child. That's a lot of the things I talk about in my book in going through.
What are some of the important things to remember when you're talking about communication, because it is so important? And sometimes the kids are at that age where they don't want to talk to parents at all.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, in my book I talk about this method called the REV method. So it stands for REV, reflective, responding and listening, also empathizing too with the child, and then also being able to validate their feelings. So I think that's important to effectively communicate, because then it shows you're actually listening and caring about them. And then from there, you're able to open up conversations about some of the difficult topics. And in my book, Erika, I talk about some of the child-limiting challenges that children face, and for parents to be aware of them and how to prevent them and then overcome them with specific exercises that I go over.
Now, I have to ask you, because you mentioned technology. I myself have kids. I know a lot of other parents, friends of mine, they have kids, and they struggle with technology. And not just technology, but within technology, what apps? What apps should they be allowed to have? And then there's the struggle that the kids want a certain app, and the parents are saying, I'm not sure if that's really, appropriate just yet. It's really difficult.
Oh yeah, and you shouldn't give your child actually a smartphone or any technology until actually preschool. And even that seems young, but research has shown that children with that early on, it rewires their brain, and then it causes all these issues with delaying gratification later on. And so I would say the big thing to do is look at how to monitor, even on YouTube. Kids aren't allowed to go on there technically till they're 13 years old, and look for the lock mechanism, the parental controls. Also having the cell phone, and the first cell phone, I would not suggest to have internet access and have limited amount of texting, and teach it as a tool to use only for appropriate means, and that everything you do, and as they get older too, there's a digital permanence and there's a footprint that they leave on social media, and that's important for kids to know.
They have to understand that it stays forever.
Yes, it does. It stays forever, and it could lend themselves later on when they get into college for admissions or even into the workforce later on.
Now, in your book, you talk about the 3 S's. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, in order for a child to become a 3S child and an individual, meaning successful, self-disciplined, and it's very important for a child out there to understand that there's many different aspects that they have to encounter. So they have to be a good problem solver. So they have to know how to set meaningful goals, and they also need to be able to have good communication skills, both on paper and verbally. And also they have to have good coping mechanisms, because they're going to encounter stressful situations out there, and for them to be able to handle them in a least destructive manner that's self-destructive. And also for parents to emphasize self-responsibility, that every action they need to be accountable for. So again, the 3 S's we're looking at are smart, successful, and self-disciplined. And in my book, I talk about the right kind of tools you need and strategies to unlock a child's full potential, Erika.
And what are some of the parenting practices that we need to keep in mind every day? Because they're looking at us, so we really need to set the example, right?
Yes, exactly. We need to set the example, be good role models, number one. I would say listen to understand, not listen to reprimand. That's a big thing, because all of a sudden, when children know that you're listening and you understand with them, that's really paramount to then opening up lines of communication. I'd say for parents, really just put themselves back in the shoes and think about how times were day to day for them growing up, versus just thinking, oh, you're not listening to me. Because again, if it's a one-way street and you're not actively listening and using, like I said, techniques I talk about, the REV method, the CALM technique on how to properly discipline your child, the PRICE technique I talk about on how to motivate your child, that's another big thing. So all of those particular cases.
Now, I have to ask, because the book is about teens and tweens, what if some parents out there are watching and they say, I've already done so many things, can I undo it at this point?
Oh, 100%.
Can they still do a 180, and just change their practices, their activity, and then their child's without Or I guess, do you just have to assume that there is going to be pushback?
Oh, there's always going to be pushback.
It's not going to be well received.
Yeah, kids are always.
But it's not too late.
It's not too late. You got to realize the stage they're in. They're always striving for independence. They're always trying to push, for this and that. And they're always discovering themselves. But the thing is, they long for being loved and accepted and understood. And those are really the key things right there. So I would say for any way to raise a 3S child, that a parent needs to have these, make these sagacious decisions that are based on positive parenting techniques, which I talk about. Also being able to spend quality time with their child, that's another thing, on a regular basis. And just having the ability, once again, to be genuine, caring of their child, being supportive, being patient throughout their entire life. And it is never too late, as long as a child knows that you're there for them. If you've made mistakes as a parent, just accepting that, being human, being real, and then just being there for them emotionally, physically, and socially.
And even admitting those mistakes to your kids
Yes.
can open a huge door for communication.
And that's really what it's all about, effective communication. I talked about that early on, being able to effectively communicate, empathizing with a child. They want to know that you understand them, but also they want you to set limits, whether they tell you or not. They want you to know that you're there for them, to teach them and guide the way.
Right. They may not act like they like restrictions, but it actually sort of gives them a sense of security.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I'm excited, too, because this book, Erika, The Ultimate Guide to Raising Teens and Tweens, I put it all together as a comprehensive approach, talking about problems, talking about strategies. And I want to mention a portion of the proceeds of my book is going to go toward a nonprofit foundation right here in Northwest Connecticut called ECAD. So it's Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. So a portion of the proceeds will help an individual, whether it's somebody in the military or if it's somebody that has a learning disability or suffers from autism or anything, they would be able to have a service dog, and a portion would go towards that, which I'm excited about.
Great. Even more of a reason to check it out.
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations on the success that you're already seeing with the book, Dr. Doug.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you with us. As always, good insight.
Thanks,
Good advice.
Erika.
Thanks so much.